The other thing that makes this time and place for this case interesting is that just a few months ago, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts enacted a regulation. Well, first they enacted a rule, which they revoked, and then they enacted a regulation, which is being legally challenged, which really, in a very novel way, tried to take the Quill physical presence standard and apply it in a way that it would capture virtually all e-commerce companies. And the way they did that was they essentially said that when you have software installed on a customer's device or a computer, then essentially you have property in that jurisdiction, and that triggers classic physical presence nexus as defined by the original Quill doctrine. And really that argument is very compelling, and I thought at the time extremely interesting in terms of it being challenged and how that challenge would go. And the reason why it's interesting is that it's indeed the case that Massachusetts and a bunch of other states, when they moved to tax electronic software and software in the cloud, they did it in a way that said software is in fact tangible personal property. So their own laws are consistent with this idea, and it's also consistent with business practice where software is never really bought and sold, it's licensed. So it's very hard, or given away. It's very hard for a technology provider who may indeed deposit cookies on a customer's mobile device or computer in the state to argue with clean hands the idea that they don't own that software, that it isn't actually property located in Massachusetts. They may argue it's de minimis property, but it's property. And where all this is going is, I think, to some extent, whether it's overtly or behind the scenes, this may play into the way the Supreme Court receives this case. Could they in some way think that, well, we could decide this case and make a stand on economic nexus, but do we really need to? Is it possible to take the existing Quill doctrine and use it to address this incredibly important and growing concern of commerce escaping taxation and causing states to struggle with tremendous budget shortfalls? Essentially, while not technically moot, it could be that they think the issue is practically moot because existing law gets the country and all the states where they need to go.